Vanessa is an energy healer, advanced meditator, and founder of Prosperamama, a company that teaches entrepreneurs how to become more visible, increase confidence, and generate more sales by incorporating energetics. Her mission is to teach women CEOs how to create their new reality by rewiring the brain. Thanks for being with us today, Vanessa.
I'm so happy to be here, so excited.
I'm really excited about this conversation. Now, you had kind of a winding road to get to where you are. Can you tell us a bit more about how you found your way to energy and business? And I heard you're called the sales genie. Is that part of the story?
Yes, it's part of the story. So, at a very young age, I actually ran a staffing agency. And at a young age, I made my first $1 million in that industry. And it's still primarily, man industry. I guess 100% of my clients actually were males. And I kind of got the courage there. I really wanted to grow and I had to become confident and the whole 9 yards. And shortly after, I thought I had made it in life at a young age. And I thought, I'm on the top of my game. I feel so amazing. And I lost it all. We lost it all as a family. And it was the best thing that has ever happened to me, even though at that moment it was tragic. While I was going through that process of not really knowing what to do, we were in another country. We had moved our whole family to another country. I was taking a Kundalini yoga teacher class, and I found someone referred me to a pranic healer. And when I went to him, I literally felt like if I was at home. I said, "Oh my God, an energy doctor." So I kind of connected all my life. I feel since a young age I was very connected. And my mom constantly said, like, don't say that or don't speak about that. And throughout my life, I would buy books on metaphysics and anything I could get my hands on. So after I went to the energy doctor, I was like, oh, I'm home. But the only thing missing there was that I liked bougie things. And I never had any shame in saying that. And I was like, okay, so spiritual healing and this path is beautiful. But for me, I need a little bit something else besides spiritual healing. Like I started doing work with women, energy work, and I was very good at it. People were getting physical results, but kind of in a coincidence manner, they started to get results in their business. And I saw every single time that someone would come to me, there were similar blocks. And if those blocks were removed or unblocked, they would have sales. And that's how the sales genie became kind of a joke. But my clients would be like, every time after a session, I would make sales. And it's really not about me having something magical, even though that would sound so amazing. It's really not. It's about really identifying the blocks and removing them. And by universal law, you will get results. So that's kind of how my journey started with energy work and women entrepreneurs.
Interesting. And isn't it funny that you're just drawn to it over and over again, even though mom's saying, no, that's not what we do. That's not what you do. It just doesn't go away. That's when you know it's something you're really passionate about.
Yes, absolutely. I always knew. So yes, it's so cool to see that your mission is always within you.
Yeah, and that you're following it. So so let's talk about energy in business. So how does energy affect our business? Let's start there.
Perfect. Okay, so the coolest thing is this. We, every living thing is bound by a field of energy. And every person and animal have energy centers or chakras, and they go beyond what we see traditionally. There are not only 7 of them, we have more, and it's not a religious thing. It's part of our physiology as humans. And they are energy centers or vortex of energy that affect or influence our mental, emotional, and physical health. So when any of these energy centers that actually have brains of their own and their own little circuits within them in our body, when they are out of balance, our body is out of balance, our life is out of balance. As entrepreneurs, CEO, women running businesses, what we focus on during the day is probably 80% of our time is in our business. How can I make it better? How can I grow it? How can I get more sales, more customers, my customer journey? So, what we focus on expands. It's just by nature, by law. And there's three main energy centers that influence the life of a CEO, of an entrepreneur, and it's your root, which is the closest to the ground, and it's the one that holds the structure and systems in your business, your customer journey, and it also in your personal life holds how belonging and safe you feel. Your solar, which is the your center for will and confidence, and in your business, this is so important for women entrepreneurs. Confidence is directly related to how much money a woman is going to hold. And this center holds your marketing, your visibility, and your boundaries. So it's super important. And then your heart center, which is the GPS in your business. So your short and long term goals. And if you identify what is blocking there, it's always going to go back to a personal block that you have. I'm afraid of live video. I'm afraid of being visible. I can receive money, but I can never keep it. I really don't have a clear map or clear goals on my business, my structure and systems. Sometimes at the beginning of our business, we don't even realize, okay, this is how much money I would have to make a month in order for this to be even sustainable. We kind of bypass that idea, and that shows up in energy blocks. That the reason how you connect this to the real world, let's say, is that those energy blocks make what is called an electromagnetic field. Every human thing has this. Every living organism has an electromagnetic field. And that is the signature that you're putting out. So basically, before you introduce yourself and you say, "Nice to meet you, my name is Vanessa," you are already, as a human, emitting energy. And that's truly how we communicate. That's how you know when you go somewhere and you're like, "Oh, I feel so energized and so good." Or, "Oh, I can't be around this person or this place because I feel so drained." It's energy that we communicate. So that is, in a simple way, how energy influences our business.
Wow, interesting. So I guess you've answered part of this already, but maybe if we can just circle back to this a little bit, how can we tell if we have an energy blockage?
So one of the best things that I want everyone that listens to this to know is that my intention is that they leave empowered, and that they understand that it is not woo to understand and embody that it is by divine right that you should have your heart's desires. That is part, or it's my belief that that is part of the reason why we came here. So when we are blocked, for example, someone that has trouble, or especially at the beginning of your business, when they feel embarrassed, or they get a feeling in the pit of their stomach when they're going to say their prices, right? When they're going to charge someone, or when they're going to say, "My price is this," that's a block of energy. When someone says, "I am so afraid of pressing that live video," even though live video is still one of the best return on investments. It's in reality, if you peel the onion layers, the reason why the person is afraid is because they are concerned and giving their energy to the external world, to what are they going to think? What are they going to say about me? And when we have blockages like, "I can't make any sales," when things are not going right, there's a block in business, basically. When things are not going, like your marketing is not converting, there's mechanics in business that you have to do. A lead magnet, a live video, a podcast, all those things are mechanics. And then there's energy that is for things to literally like go in a smooth way, in a flowy way. Not perfect, but flowing. Every day you see validation. Okay, this is working. This is working.
Right. So if you've got all the pieces in place, but they're not really working the way they should, that's a big sign. Okay. So so how do we turn that around? How do we make sales, for example, more consistently using the spiritual aspect of the business chakras?
So the first thing that I always tell my clients always is Remember that what makes the electromagnetic field is your thought and your emotion. And this is not positive, toxic positivity. This has all the science behind it. So, your thoughts and your emotions create your electromagnetic field, and you can only be a magnet to that. It's just the law. So, a lot of people don't realize that we have up to 90,000 thoughts in a day, and they're very similar to the day prior. So, if the first thing that we do, the first thing that I tell my clients is a strong routine is where your money is at. If the first thing that we do in the morning is wake up and reach for our phone and start the endless scrolling and the comparison and remember all of our problems of yesterday, then we have kind of lost the day, to be honest. And if we want to play by the quantum, which means good results in shorter amount of time, then there's certain rules like your routine. When your routine is off, then that's going to show up in your business. And a simple routine can be this. For you to achieve what you want to achieve, you need to be very clear on that. And sometimes I have clients that come and I ask them, what are your goals, your short term goals, your long term goals? What is like your heart's desire? And sometimes they just stare blank with a blank face, not because they're fault. It's in reality because they can't believe they achieve it subconsciously. So they're afraid to even say it. So the first thing that I would say is if you want to play by the quantum, which gives amazing results, you need to allow yourself to dream and you have to get clear on what it is that you want. Because after you get clear, in order for you to embody it or see it in this 3D reality, is you have to feel it. It's not only thinking it, you have to feel it. And it's easier said than done because we have been programmed to not feel based on limiting beliefs, on an upbringing, the whole nine yards. So, teaching your body every day, even if it's for a small amount of time, to really feel how that future self or that result that you want in business is an accelerator to your business.
Interesting. And a good time to do that is in the morning then, so you set yourself up for success.
Yes, in the morning, it's a very good time because before you give your energy out and you connect with the problems, the lack of whatever it is, you command your day. And so many people bypass this step. They just wake up and they're like, okay, let's go, let's do this. And in reality, that's not how it is because let's go, let's do this is attached to the hustle culture or the struggle. I have to work 16 hours. I have to get up earlier. I have to do this. And the rewiring starts when we realize, no, what's most important is my energy is the most important thing, more than hustling the 16 hours and waking up 2 hours earlier and sitting on your computer just to feel stuck. So it's really that.
The morning phone is something that I've struggled with, and we're on the West Coast, so we're 3 hours behind a lot of people that I'm doing business with, and I had gotten into the routine of getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning because that's when I was getting up anyway, well, 5 o'clock in the morning, but and then turning on my phone because I thought, well, quickly I'll check the emails because there'll be some there because people are working on the East Coast and I can have a quick reply. And then by the time I'm ready and I'm at my desk, we've already kind of leapfrogged into our day, which sounds like a great plan. And it worked really well for that. But it completely destroyed my mornings because whatever the problem was, whatever the emergency was, and then of course, while I was on my phone checking my emails, I went down the path of, oh, what's that on Instagram? And I've stopped doing it, and it makes such a world of difference, just that one simple thing.
It absolutely does. And at the beginning, you feel like, well, if I'm not attending to the emails, maybe I'm going to lose business or my client, or it's normal. Those are normal things. But once you understand that you can solve a problem from the same level that the problem was created, then you understand the advantage you have of having a strong routine. Because if you come in without a strong routine, without really programming, your energy, what's going to happen is that one email is like going down a rabbit hole. If that one email was a negative one or one that you weren't expecting, that's it. But if you come from a place of empowerment and of reassurance that you feel good inside and this is your day and you command it and your routine is on point, then when you get that email, first of all, you're not going to go into flight or fly, which is high cortisol and adrenaline, you actually have more awareness on how to solve the problem. So we think getting to the email first is going to solve the problem, when in actuality, getting to your routine first is going to give you the tools to solve the problem.
Mm, yes. So something that's really difficult, I think, for a lot of women entrepreneurs, we struggle with so much more than men do, is confidence and visibility. Making ourselves visible. Even we tend to try and be invisible in our businesses when we start out. So, how does this play into that?
My favorite subject, because my favorite subject is confidence and visibility, because when a woman owns it, we distribute our income within our community, our family, and our place of congregation, whatever it is, no non-denomination. So when that happens, when we are confident and we own our power, we really become visible. We are so attached to the impact that we are making. And that is why it's so important to actually be clear on the impact that we want to make. So, confidence is not arrogance. Confidence is knowing and coming in with the demeanor that I am here for a bigger purpose. And if I serve one person today, then my seed or my impact is starting to roll, and I don't want that roll to ever stop. It's just how it works. When we are not confident, first of all, people buy based on confidence. So people buy your confidence. We buy based on emotions, and we try to justify it logically. That's the psychology of sales. So when someone is confident, they have clarity in their vision. And I always say this to my clients: we're always being sold to all day, whether it's concepts, something physical, whatever it is. So the first person that needs to get clear on the transformation that they offer the other person is you as an entrepreneur. And the funny thing happens is that sometimes when we lack clarity, in reality, we lack self belief, because we believe that the transformation that we want to offer, we can't offer it. That's why a lot of healers struggle in this area of business. So, a confident woman is one that is not attached to the outcome. You have no emotional attachment to, I have to get the sale and I have to get the client and I have to close it. No, it's more of, I am secure in what I am offering. I know that I can help you, and I have my impact and my vision is so attached to what I'm doing that anybody else's opinion is irrelevant, because at the end of the day, everyone's opinion is based on their own limiting beliefs. That's why people say, oh, you judge by, you judge by how you judge yourself. And that's true. How you judge others is based on your own limiting beliefs. So that's like step number one. Step number two is to know that if energetically, when you're confident, people pick up on that and they want to buy what you have, they want to buy what you offer. So that is where confidence comes in with regards to how much money you're really going to hold. Someone that is confident can charge accordingly, can expand on that, and has no attachment to the outcome. But when we are begging for a sale and following up endlessly and kind of chasing down the person, it reflects that we're not confident in the service that we offer. So that's the part of confidence. And then visibility is a stand that every woman should take, because I believe that within every woman, there's a successful entrepreneur. That is my true belief. So when you are visible, you're doing people a favor. You are sharing your greatness with the world. You are helping someone get out of a funk or bring more income into their family through your programs or your coaching, or getting someone's voice out there. So visibility and confidence is both of those things are located in your solar plexus, and that is your center of will and power to the world. So that is kind of what we need to own, more than hiding behind something or keeping our voice low because it's better. And just a small disclaimer, I don't want to bypass the fact that when we are young, we are entrained, right? because our brain waves are really low, which means they have complete access to our subconscious mind. So if you were in a house that there was maybe conflict or turmoil, children learn to be quiet to avoid the conflict or the turmoil. And then that goes with you into adulthood. I want you to know that that does not have to be the case. Once you become aware, you have the right to say, that was what I learned when I was young, but now that I have a different awareness, I am going to act differently. That is why rewiring the brain is actually a thing.
Mhm. Wow. A lot of amazing points there. One that I want to circle back to is, which is I think a great way to look at it. Other people's opinions are based on their limiting beliefs. And I think if every time we're concerned about someone else's opinion, if we just take a second and we reframe it that way, because honestly, we have enough of our own limiting beliefs without taking on board everybody else's. And that's why we get paralyzed. We can't do something. We can't get in front of the camera. We can't hit the live button because we're paralyzed by our limiting beliefs and then taking on, hundreds or thousands of others. So I think that's just such a great way to frame it. Every time we have that moment of what are they going to think? Just hang on a second. Don't take that on board. I love that. What a piece of gold that is. So many great tips here. Before we get on to, I want to know what your best piece of advice is for one entrepreneur. But before we go there, any other thoughts on what we should be looking for in our own lives and our own businesses to determine, what changes need to be made?
Yes. So a lot of people toy with the idea, or it became cliche to say vibrations and high frequency. And I have this science brain that I needed to bring science into this, because otherwise I wouldn't believe it. It sounded too good to be true that I could really be the co-creator of my life. And I want you to know that you do what makes you feel good. Not only because it makes you feel good, but because in reality, that is your intuition that is telling you this is the way to go. And to bring science into that, when you feel an elevated emotion, joy, freedom, gratitude, excitement, momentum, success, whatever that is, I want you to know that your body has literally an operating system that determines high emotions and low emotions. And it's your guide, your GPS. So it doesn't matter if your business at the beginning doesn't make sense to anyone. I have been doing this for almost 9 years, and I basically sell the concept of energy, and energy is non tangible. And at the beginning, people were like, you are crazy. And now they say, I can't believe it. But I had to see it before anyone else did, because it didn't really matter if they could believe it or not. So I want you to know that I have a background in something completely different. And if I would have stayed there, I would have stayed miserable. But this is what gave me life. When I would do a live, when I would read someone's energy centers, when I would talk about this, it gave me life. And that's like what you should look for, especially at the beginning stages of your business, when maybe, things physically aren't showing up as fast as you want them. Remember, that's part of a gift that you have, that nudge that it feels good. And this is what I want to do. And that doesn't mean it doesn't feel scary, but it feels internally good. Please follow that. Don't allow anyone to interfere, because it's no one's business, pun intended. It's really no one's business.
It's your business.
Yes.
And if you follow your passion and your purpose like that, it's going to get hard. It's going to get hard no matter what you do. But I just so firmly believe that if you're doing what you're meant to do and you're passionate about it, you make it through all that. You're successful faster. You stick with it when it gets hard, and you're going to do amazing things.
Yes.
I love that. All right. So let's talk about that's a pretty good piece of advice for women entrepreneurs just starting out, but let's get one more from you. For a lot of the women that are listening to the podcast are just starting out on their journey as an entrepreneur. So from what you've learned or from what you've heard from mentors, anything along the lines there, what's your best piece of advice for newer women entrepreneurs?
So my best piece of advice is treat your business like a business from the beginning, from the get-go. Know your numbers, right? That's the mechanics. So know your numbers and get clear, very clear on the goals that you want to reach. And I always say, like, stretch yourself a little bit, right? Because a lot of people come and they say that this is one of the most common things. I have a money block, right? People kind of uh, right away recognize money and then block, and they kind of put it together. And then the majority come and say, I have a money block. And it's really not a money block. But what I want you guys to know is this: treat your business as a business. Remember, if you want to play in the quantum, which is going to give you amazing, incredible results, then part of the quantum is that you have to embody that person that you want to be from the beginning. So you're not going to act like someone that doesn't have clients or that's not getting sales. Your job is to stay in the vibration, and is to stay in that lane of, I am already that successful entrepreneur. That's the energy part. The mechanics, know your numbers. No one other than yourself needs to hold that vision clear in your mind. No one's job. That's no one's job. It's only your job. And the third one, there is no limits to what can be achieved. There's no limits. Like, we are limitless, literally. So, okay. And the fourth thing, sorry. Don't be mindful of where your energy is going. If you are participating in constant negative conversations, constant gossip, it's so hard. It doesn't work. Nothing is working for me. That's what you're programming. Your cells, our cells are programmed by our words. So when you truly decide that you're going to put your hat of entrepreneurship and you're going to become that woman CEO, you act like it. You act accordingly. You can't just like flip flop. Oh, today I'm with friends that are not entrepreneurs and they say that entrepreneur is so difficult. And I'm like, yes, it's the worst. It's horrible. No, no. Even if you're having a hard time, know that that's normal. It's part of the process. You're learning. But what's important is keeping that vision and standing that ground, really.
Yeah, it's funny when you talk about being the person that you plan to be, you seeing yourself as that and behaving that way, the first response is always, well, but I can't afford to do that right now. This is not about money. This is not about, go buy the wardrobe that you in 10 years is going to buy. This is about building the habits and having the mindset and really being that person you want to be. I love that. Anybody that's listening today, if you are interested in finding out, and I'm sure you are, because I certainly am, if your energy is blocked, Vanessa, you've got an amazing quiz for that, right? To help us figure that out?
Yes, I have a short quiz that is going to identify what energy center is blocked. And that will give you it will give you the results in a short video. And then you'll be able to kind of put the pieces together and say, oh, okay, now I understand.
Okay, great. And that's give us the website. I'm going to put it in the show notes, but just in case somebody's listening.
Sure. It's at www.prosperamama.com/quiz.
Okay, perfect. And we're going to put that in the show notes. You can pop over to the podcast website as well, which is onestepempire.com. And then you also have a workshop that you run fairly regularly as well. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So I have a workshop called Business Chakras, and it basically explains how to incorporate this into your business in order to see growth with ease. So we run that about once a month. I still do it live because I love the interaction. I really love the sharing energy, basically. So we have that as well.
Okay, great. And we'll link that in the show notes as well. So again, if you can't see them, onestepempire.com, and we'll have all the links for Vanessa and all the good stuff there for you. Well, I just want to say thank you, Vanessa. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. It was really interesting conversation and I think really enlightening as well. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm very grateful. I'm very excited. Thank you.